Hey guys, welcome to Draw With Sandee at the Little Artistic Nook. Today we'll be drawing this cute little zebra. I'm going to start my zebra by drawing out one eye about center of my page. So I'm going to make a nice big oval, and then I'm going to draw in the highlight by drawing a big curve that's towards the top of the eye and slightly left. Draw a heart underneath that, and then I'm going to shade in around these two spaces. Then I'm going to just extend out two little lines towards the right to create some eyelashes, and I like to do this by tracing over the top of the eye and then just flicking outwards. Next, we can draw in a cheek by coming towards the bottom of the eye and just drawing a big curve that wraps all the way underneath and closes in on the other side. For this zebra, her face is slightly hidden, so I'm going to draw in the edge of her face before I start making her second eye. So to do this, I'm going to start a good distance from the eye, not too far, but where you would imagine you could see maybe half of her second eye. And I'm going to draw a line that's curved or angled just slightly towards that bottom left corner. And as I come towards the cheek, I'm going to start to create almost like a little hook. And then we're going to wrap it around and underneath. So we've sort of created a really odd looking L shape. Then you can slowly bring that curve back up towards the cheek and extend it out past the eye. So when you look at it, it's like you have a U shape that's sort of angled towards the top and slightly right. Then continue wrapping that line around the back of this eye you drew and extend it up towards the top of your page. Next, we'll create the muzzle by drawing a curved line near the bottom of the face we've just drawn. Add in some little lines or dots for nostrils, and then go ahead and draw in a little smile or any kind of mouth you like. And now we're going to draw that second eye. So you want it to be in line with the first one, but we're only going to draw half of it, and it's touching that outside edge of her head. So draw your half oval and then start to draw in the highlights. They're pretty much the same, even though you might not see all of them, and then shade in the space around the highlights. I'm going to leave out the eyelashes and the cheek, and then I'm going to come back and draw a little eyebrow above her full eye that we drew to begin. We're going to draw the first ear coming from that line that's just above her eye, so that line we extended upwards, and we're going to turn it into something like a triangle. So it's slightly rounded here at the front, and I'm just going to connect it back so we have a little point on top, and this should be about in line with that first eye. And we can separate the inside from the outside by drawing a little curved line from that point. Then, coming back to the front of the head, we're going to draw in the classic zebra mane here. And I'm going to curve a line down towards the front of the face, bring it down into the head so it's coming right past that outside line, and curve back up towards the ear. And then I'm going to indicate that second ear just by drawing a little tiny triangle just above the front of the mane. To begin drawing out the body, I'm going to find, for me, it's going to be where I created the muzzle. It might be a little bit higher or lower than the nose for you, depending on what you have. But we're going to extend a line out towards the left and create a really slight curve, and then start to round that line down towards the bottom of your page to create the first leg, which is her back leg. And then from the bottom, you can draw a small horizontal line for the bottom of her foot. And now I'm just going to draw a little line back upwards, and I'm just going to leave it at that and come around to do the front side of her body. So coming now to the right side of her head, I'm going to just look to see where you started the back body, and you want to start about the same spot on the front here. I'm going to draw a line that curves towards the center of her belly. So in my case, it is curving quite a bit towards that left corner, but it's also coming down. Then you can come back to that back leg and start to bring your line up and eventually curve it back towards the front body. And we're going to leave a nice big space here because I'm going to draw in the front legs. So the space I've left is pretty much as wide as the muzzle. So starting on the left, I'm going to draw down a vertical line for the front leg here. Make the little foot and then bring a line back up towards the body. And go ahead and close off your zebra's chest here where we've curving it down to meet that leg. Then we can draw the second front leg by just drawing out pretty much it's a rectangle coming from underneath that chest line. Then we have one more foot here at the back, and I'm going to draw this underneath the belly, leaving a little bit of a space between this leg and the very back leg that we drew to begin with. And again, it's like a little rectangle. You can curve it as it comes towards her belly. Then I'm going to draw a really simple tail just coming off of this rounded part here on her back, little horizontal line to the left. And then for the fur, I'm just going to draw some little rectangle shapes. Of course, you can do anything you want. I want her legs to be a bit longer, so I'm going to add her hooves just underneath the bottom of her legs. If you're looking at your picture and you think they're long enough, then feel free to just draw a little horizontal line above the bottom of your legs to create the hooves that way. I'm going to come back and add in the striping details on her mane. So to do this, I mean, if you're just going to color, then you could obviously just go straight to coloring to do this. But since I'm drawing it out, I'm going to draw out the stripes in just like a wide and thin sort of pattern. We're going to continue the mane on her back as if it's wrapping around, so it's going to come out probably about halfway up that eye and taper down towards her back end. Then you can just close it off and then go ahead and continue adding your stripes however you have decided to do them. If you're doing them like me, then you're going to make some little narrow rectangles, leave a big space in between them. And now let's fill in her body with all those stripes. So starting here in the head, I'm going to draw in some triangular shaped stripes that are sort of curving in towards her face. I like to change the direction so that it gives her body some shaping. So when you're coming around the face, you can curve up at the bottom, curve down at the top, and same within her body. So when I'm starting at the back, my stripes are sort of curving towards the center of her body. And as I pass through center, I'm going to start creating just a slightly different angle here. So this time curving towards the back. You can bring one underneath the head and then come across her chest. I'm going to have these stripes once again facing towards the center of her chest. And so just by drawing your lines like this, you're just making her look a little more shapely so that she doesn't look so flat. I'm going to add in the striping on the bottom side here so that they look like they're intersecting. We'll add some on the legs as well, and as I come down the length of the legs, I'm going to just make the stripes get a little bit smaller, maybe a little bit thinner, letting them sort of fade out into the bottom of her legs. Don't forget to do the legs that are in behind. Even though they're in shadow, she still has some stripes there as well. And just finishing up here with these last few stripes, and I'm going to go ahead and draw in the setting. So starting off, I'm just going to draw out a simple ground line that's a little bit higher than the bottom of her feet, starting from the left, and just moving across the page. Of course, you go in whatever direction you like. And then I'm just going to draw in an acacia tree. So I'm going to start with my trunk by drawing from the ground a line up towards the top of my page, keeping it shorter than the height of my zebra. And then a second line coming back down beside it and just widening at the base. I'm going to draw out a couple lines so it sort of looks like a V shape at the top just for branches. And then for the leaves of the tree, I'm going to just draw, you can almost imagine you're drawing a cloud that is just going to come back and touch the tree trunk or touch a branch so that you close off your tree here. You can add in some extra layers to add some height, and that is our little zebra. So thank you so much for drawing with me today, guys. If you enjoyed this tutorial, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. And until next time, for another Draw with Sandee at the Little Artistic Nook, keep making art and keep smiling.